All right, so we're diving into some pretty fascinating years in Michael Jackson's life today, aren't we? His later years.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really interesting period, I think. And, we're looking at albums from the 90s, early 2000s talking about his health, the This Is It tour.
Yeah, and all the stuff around it. I mean, that's a lot to cover.
It is.
But I'm really excited to kind of dig in, especially the music. I mean, we got Dangerous History, Blood on the Dance Floor, and then Invincible.
Right.
That's a lot of music to get through.
Yeah, it is.
In just a couple years. So
it is.
It feels like he was really trying to push the boundaries of his sound, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, take Dangerous, for example. Like, if you compare it to, say, his 80s sound,
right?
It's not just a continuation, right? It's like he's bringing in all these elements of what was called a New Jack Swing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like a real blend of hip-hop rhythms with R&B melodies.
Yeah.
You can really hear that in tracks like Jam, where he collaborates with big names like Teddy Riley.
Yeah.
And the thing that really struck me, actually, listening back to that track, was those hard-panned vocals.
Oh, yeah.
And the use of those industrial samples, that was pretty groundbreaking for a mainstream pop artist at the time to be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, too. So, I mean, it sounds like he was very consciously trying to, bring in those kind of harder edge urban influences, right?
Absolutely.
But then what about history? Because history always felt like a response to me.
Yeah.
To all the controversies that were kind of swirling around him at the time.
Right, exactly. And history is so fascinating because it's almost like a musical autobiography in a way.
Oh, interesting.
It's got those greatest hits, but then also all this new material that really directly addresses, what he was going through, like the accusations and just the media scrutiny generally.
I mean, it's very personal.
Oh, yeah.
And at times it's really confrontational. Like if you listen to songs like Scream, that duet with Janet Jackson, right? It's full of raw emotion. You can just sense the anger, That's directed at the media.
Totally. And speaking of Scream, wasn't that like the most expensive music video ever made at the time?
That's what they say.
Yeah, it wasn't just about like the choreography and all those amazing special effects. It really felt like he was pushing the boundaries of music video as like an art form, don't you think?
I think so. Jackson always had that cinematic vision for his music. Like he wasn't content with just creating songs.
Yeah.
He wanted to create like these whole visual experiences in Scream with all those futuristic sets and those costumes and just that blend of dance and storytelling. It's just a prime example of,
it really is,
of how ambitious he was visually. Yeah. And all this is happening while he's dealing with some serious health challenges,
Right.
Looking back, it's kind of hard to not notice like the changes in his physical appearance and all the speculation around it, right? Like, I mean, it must have been a lot to deal with.
It's a difficult topic to discuss, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
But it's important, I think, to remember that Jackson was actually diagnosed with vitiligo and lupus.
Right.
And these are serious conditions, They can have some pretty significant physical effects, especially on the skin.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And he was very open about those diagnoses, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But, unfortunately, a lot of the media really just focused on the more sensational aspects of his appearance,
Right.
And it fueled all those rumors and speculation about plastic surgeries.
Yeah.
And it's just a reminder of how public figures, especially those who are already vulnerable, can be subjected to such intense scrutiny and judgment.
Totally.
That's often really unfair.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't just the cosmetic stuff either, right? Like his performance style was so incredibly demanding.
It was.
And he was known to struggle with a lot of chronic pain, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, decades of those dance routines, those really intricate, high-energy stage shows, that took a huge toll on his body.
Oh, yeah.
It was reported, he suffered from severe back pain.
Oh, wow.
And all sorts of other ailments. And, managing that kind of chronic pain often requires medication.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, in Jackson's case, that became another source of controversy.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
It is.
Because, I mean, on the one hand, chronic pain is a real struggle
Absolutely.
for so many people.
It is.
But then the medications used to manage it.
Right.
They can be addictive and have some really serious side effects. Yeah, right. So it's like, where's the line?
Right. And when you add the pressures of fame to that and that constant media attention, it just creates, this incredibly difficult situation.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to approach this topic with sensitivity.
Totally.
And to remember that we're talking about, a human being dealing with some real physical and emotional challenges.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how was he even able to function at all?
Yeah.
Let alone, like, create music.
Right.
And plan, like, this massive comeback tour in the middle of all of this.
That's what's so remarkable, right? Even with all those challenges,
Yeah.
his creative drive didn't diminish.
Yeah.
And then in 2009, he announces, this is it.
Yeah.
Right? This series of 50 concerts at London's O2 Arena.
50 shows.
50 shows.
That's massive.
Huge.
For anyone, let alone.
Right, especially someone
battling health issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was like a truly ambitious endeavor, really. And, from what we know about the production, it was going to be a spectacle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were talking elaborate sets, cutting-edge technology, a whole team of, like, top-notch dancers and musicians. He was even, like, incorporating environmental themes into the show.
Oh, wow.
Reflecting his long-time concern for the planet.
So it wasn't just going to be about the music and the dancing.
No.
He was really trying to make a statement.
Yeah.
Do we know, like, how hands-on he was with the production?
Oh, yeah.
Given his health and all that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
People who worked with him in rehearsals talk about, like, his dedication, like, meticulous attention to detail.
Yeah.
He was involved in, like, every aspect of it, from the choreography to the lighting design.
That's the Michael Jackson we all know, right?
Yeah.
Striving for perfection.
Exactly.
It's tragic that he never got to see it,
It is.
Come to life on stage. It really is. And of course, his death on June 25, 2009, just weeks before that first concert.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sent shockwaves around the world, really.
Oh, yeah. I remember exactly where I was.
Yeah.
It was like a collective, I don't know, disbelief and grief.
It really was.
For so many people.
Yeah.
And his death, officially attributed to acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication.
Right.
It kind of brought that whole issue of, like, prescription drug dependence to the forefront again.
It did.
Especially in the entertainment industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it really sparked those important conversations, didn't it?
Yeah.
About, the responsibility of medical professionals, the complexities of managing chronic pain, and just the often, hidden struggles of people in the public eye.
Totally.
It's a reminder that, fame and fortune don't protect you from these really human challenges.
Yeah, for sure. And, in the aftermath, we got the This Is It documentary.
Right.
With all that rehearsal footage.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave fans a glimpse of, like, what could have been.
It did. And it's, it's heartbreaking in a way, but also really inspiring. You see his passion, his energy, just his commitment to creating something truly extraordinary,
Yeah.
Even just in rehearsal, he was mesmerizing.
It's true.
It's a real testament to his talent and dedication to his art.
Yeah. I think for a lot of fans, it's really hard to watch that film and not feel a sense of loss,
I understand that.
Like, what could have been if he'd had more time?
Yeah, yeah. And, it's especially poignant when you realize he had so many unreleased songs.
Oh, really?
Film ideas, he had ambitions to explore all these new technologies. It seemed like he was like entering this whole new creative chapter,
Yeah.
full of possibilities.
Wow. It's a lot to process, isn't it? It is.
The musical innovation, the personal struggles, the unrealized potential.
It is.
When we look back at all of this period of his life, what do you think is the most important takeaway for you?
It's the complexity, I think. This wasn't just a story of, success or failure, triumph or tragedy. It was a very human story, of someone navigating these, like, extraordinary circumstances.
Yeah.
He was an artist who was constantly evolving, a vulnerable human being, grappling with fame and all its pressures, and a visionary who never stopped dreaming.
You can't put him in a box, can you?
No.
He defied
He did.
easy categorization.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what makes him so fascinating.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
He was this brilliant artist, a flawed individual, and an icon whose legacy continues to spark debate and inspire new generations. Yeah, it does. And I think, while the legal issues surrounding his life are complex and shouldn't be ignored, I think it's also important to remember the music, the innovation, the cultural impact that continues to resonate today.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about the music itself, was it?
No, not at all.
He used his platform to address social issues, to promote peace and understanding, to challenge, preconceived notions.
Absolutely.
Think about songs like Black or White, Heal the World, Earth Song.
Right.
Those messages, they're as relevant today as they were when they came out.
Absolutely. He really understood the power of his voice, didn't he? And he used it to advocate for causes that he believed in.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to, take a stand, even if it meant, alienating some fans or facing criticism.
Right.
He really wanted to make a difference, not just entertain.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? That even amidst, the controversies and all those personal struggles, there was this, deep well of compassion and this desire to really use his art for good.
There was, And that's definitely something worth remembering, right?
Totally.
It's easy to get caught up in the sensationalism,
Yeah.
the headlines, the gossip. But at the heart of it all, it was a human being with dreams, flaws, and this undeniable talent that touched millions of lives.
Well said. As we kind of approach the end of our deep dive into this period of his life, what stands out to you the most? What resonates with you about his later years? Was it the musical experimentation? Those glimpses of vulnerability? The sheer scale of his ambition? Or maybe his commitment to making the world a better place?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It really is. It's a story that, keeps people fascinated and provokes discussion, even after all these years.
It really does.
It's a testament to his legacy, I think.
Absolutely. It's tempting to want to, simplify his story.
Yeah.
But it's so much more nuanced than that, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's a story that, resists easy answers.
Totally. And I guess maybe that's the biggest takeaway from all this, that even the most, iconic figures are ultimately human, right?
Yeah, they are. They have dreams. They make mistakes. They experience pain and joy, just like the rest of us.
And it makes you think about the price of fame, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, the constant scrutiny, the pressure to maintain a certain image, the invasion of privacy. It's a lot to carry.
It really is. What do you think, what do you think Michael Jackson would want us to remember him for?
That's a good question. I think, first and foremost, the music, the way it brought people joy, the way it crossed all those boundaries, the artistry, the innovation that he put into, every single note, every move.
A sheer talent.
Exactly, the dedication to his craft. And I think also his message of love and unity, his belief in a better world.
Totally.
A world where, we celebrate our differences and come together peacefully.
A world that heals.
Yeah, a world that heals.
That's a theme that runs through a lot of his work.
A lot of it, yeah. And, even though he's not with us anymore, those messages, they still resonate, don't they?
They do.
They challenge us to be better, to, strive for something more.
It's a powerful legacy to leave behind.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you the most in our exploration of Michael Jackson's later years? What questions does his story raise for you about, the price of fame or the nature of artistic genius?
Right. Does it make you want to go back and listen to the music again?
Yeah.
With fresh ears.
Totally.
Look past the controversies and just appreciate the sheer brilliance of his artistry,
Absolutely. Whatever your takeaway, we hope this deep dive has given you a a deeper understanding of this complex and fascinating
for sure
period in Michael Jackson's life.